In this video today, we're going to be creating the Unrecord Bodycam effect. It's going to have lens flares, dirt masks, chromatic effect, vignette, and it's going to be parented to a third-person camera, giving us that head bobbing and realistic camera effect. So let's get started. So here we are in the third-person template, and if we drag our third-person character in and we click play, you can see that the camera is obviously in third person. So what we want to do, we want to change that and make it so the camera is parented to the head and we get all the movement and everything else in first person. Okay, so let's open up the BP third person character blueprint and let's go to the viewport. Once we're in the viewport, we want to drag the follow camera onto the camera boom, and we are just going to delete the camera boom because we don't need it. And drag the follow camera onto the mesh so it's a child of the mesh. We're going to zero out the location and rotation, and as you can see, this forward arrow is not facing the right way. Well, the forward arrow is facing the right way, but the camera isn't, so we need to change that. So we're just going to change these values here, and we're just going to drag that up somewhere nice, but the camera is actually facing sideways, as you can see here. So what we need to do here is we're just going to rotate it by 90 degrees. So let me just, in fact, we're just going to parent it to the head first. So click on the camera, parent socket and head. And now you can see we're getting the movement. So we're just going to do minus 89 here, minus 90. And we need to move it into a better position, I think. So if you just click these three dots as well, you can always save and compile. And as you can see, we've got the breathing, and we can see the arms up in front of the character with this now. If you don't parent it to the head, basically you don't get the characters breathing and stuff like that. And also, if you want to minimize the breathing effect, you can actually parent it to the chest. So what we need to do here, type in use pawn control rotation, and as you can see, we are looking down into the character. But this is actually a good thing. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make it so that the character turns with the camera. So, okay, let's type in yaw and use control rotation yaw. And now the player is turning with the character. Yeah, so now the camera is turning with the character. So I'm just trying to get a bit of a better angle here at the moment, just so that when we actually do look down, we are not clipping through. So we just move this forward by 10 and just move it a little bit forward like that, so it would be 20. And we're just going to kind of position the white little ball on just in front of the tip of the nose, really. And as you can see now, we are not clipping through anymore. We can see the feet, we can see the arms, and we have all that movement. So this is looking kind of good, but there is a few things that I do want to change to make it extra special. So one of the things is you can actually change the FOV, or the field of view, right here. If you're wondering what orthographic does, that's exactly what that does. But we're going to keep it on perspective, and this is what it looks like. Basically, it's obviously this is an extreme, but yeah, we're going to change it, and we'll put it back to, let's see what this looks like. That's way too zoomed in, and this is good for a horror game. So when you're closer to the camera, it gives that horror game feel. But we're just gonna keep it on 95. I think that's a good little value. I'm understanding of what that does. And see these dirt mask textures? This is what we're going to be adding in a moment. So we need to add a post-processed volume. If you just hover here and type it in, you can just add it like that. And it's going to be the visual effects one. And I'm just going to make this massive and cover the entire map. Right, now if we click on the post-process volume and we type in lens, we can actually edit some of the other stuff and make it look more like a true first-person body cam. So we'll go to dirt mask and we're just going to type in dirt and use this texture that comes with Unreal. And for the intensity, we are going to put this at like a really high value, so you can see that on the screen now, especially when we like look up at the light. It's going to be shining through the specks of dirt on the camera. It just gives it more of that true first-person camera lens feel. The next thing I want to add is, let's have a look. Yeah, so for the dirt mask as well, this is good for using, like, if you get shot, you can add blood or stuff like that. But I'm just going to change the values of this. The maximum value you can actually put is 8, but you can just type it in and add something higher. Okay, so you can see like the dirt on the screen now. Yeah, I'm just going to change that back to 10. Now, the next thing I want to add is chromatic aberration. And this basically separates all the edges of the objects that are in view, and it separates them into like 3 colors. So you can see the corners of the screen are going, you can see like the color coming off basically. If we just remove this dirt mask, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, there we go. So I've added a value of 100 to the dirt mask and just kept it white, so then it looks like there's actual dirt on the camera. And the chromatic effect is like peeking around the corner of the walls. And this is like an old VHS style of camera. If you just change the start offset, this will change the outside, so you can see the outside is the only thing that's affected, and then when we move it back to 0, nothing's affected. So if you just look around the outsides of the screen, you can see it's like where the lens would be curved on a camera. Okay, so for the next thing, I want to add some vignette, and this either lightens or darkens the outside of the screen, and you can see the effect where it's darkening the outsides of the screen, and the chromatic effect is a little bit more noticeable. Obviously we still have the dirt on the screen, so we have the dirt, we have the chromatic effect, and we also have the vignette. And as you can see, when I'm walking around, if I go outside the post-process volume, then the effect completely gets disabled, because it only works when you're inside the post-process volume. The next thing that I want to add is some lens flares, and as you can see, just coming off the sun there, if we position our camera and just look up at the sun, we can change this. So I'm going to change it to a value of 0.03 or 2 maybe, and we're just going to add a tint, something like yellowy orange. Let's make that a bit more visible. Obviously you can just play with these numbers and see whatever's best for you, and the bokeh size or bokeh size just makes the flares a little bit bigger and less sharp. And for the tints here, you can change each little flare in the camera lens to a different color. As you can see, it's like yellow going into green, going back into yellow, and then white where the sun is. So in our previous video, we had a health system made, and in this one we have a true first-person body cam. So in the next one, I'm going to make a stamina system. If you're interested in that, click the video on the top right, and thank you for watching.